Welcome to my Sugar Shack Haven. I just wanted to show you guys the reno job I did and just talk a little bit about what's going on in the world and how I'm feeling about it all. Hope you enjoy.
Okay, this is it. The new project. We're cleaning up the old Sugar Shack. I've been here for 16 years, never been cleaned. We're gonna do it, and you're gonna see it's gonna look amazing afterwards. And I'm gonna have a sweat lodge, and we're gonna use this place and keep it revived. Check it out.
So this is the table that the big syrup pan used to sit on, and I've actually used this table for my yoga floor, and this giant stove you can see here is all rusted out, and I've repaired all the walls, and I'm going to show you guys all the pics of now that it's finished. So I hope you enjoy. This was a lot of work, busted our butts for about 2 months straight. Here's a before picture, and you can see what state this building was in. It had raccoons coming through here. All the windows were open. All the walls were, some of them were broken. And I can't wait to show you the after pictures. So I wanted to show you guys what I've done in my Sugar Shack this year. It's been 16 years since I've been here, and this dream to get the Sugar Shack renovated has finally come true. And I'm just out here walking with my dogs. There's Scoot, who's 14. And that's little Teddy. And they're my little buddies. Well, Teddy always hangs with me. He's like little Toto. I feel like I'm in the Wizard of Oz with him. But anyhow, I just wanted to show you, I've been cleaning up the woods. And as I clean up the woods, I started to make a sacred circle. So I don't know if any of you have watched Outlander. And Outlander, you know, it's all about the sacred circle. And through my research, I realized that the original church was a circle. So I created this. I'm still working on it, cleaning up the woods and building the walls more. But I created this little archway. And the reason I picked this spot was because it has like a natural circle with all the big trees, and there's this giant space in between, and I had never noticed it. And then right in the center of this space there's an elm tree. I don't know if you can see it. He's just kind of here by himself, and I put this kind of ornament. I find artwork in the woods. And I'm going to plant an oak tree on the other side of this fern. So on one side I'm going to have an elm, on the other side I'm going to put the oak. And I want to make furniture like out of branches and stuff. I'd done that a long time ago when I was younger. And so yeah, this is my sacred circle that I come and just kind of take in the energy of all the trees, and it really revives me. And then I'll take you down to the shack and show you. And just you guys get to see, it's a beautiful sunny day here, so the sun comes through the forest because the trees are so big. I don't know if you can see how big they are. They're really, really, really sacred trees. Like, they're really rare to find them this big. And I just love them. They're just magical. And you can see there's a Sugar Shack in the distance. I'm going to come down here. And I also have another area where there's these big massive trees, and I created a big pyre, like a fire, which I want to set fire on the winter solstice. So when it's winter time, it won't be dangerous to do that in the woods. And yeah, you can see there's kind of like a circle here with these big massive trees. And that's my fire pit. And there's the Sugar Shack with my wisdom owl. And I'll take you inside in a sec. Okay, so there's Teddy, and here we are going in. And this is like my little getaway escape. It's kind of dark in here because the trees, you know, shelter us. But yeah, so I made like a little bed, couch, couch, and then I created this ornament that's all made out of old oak barrels, the strappings, and I created a light in there. And there's my pyramid, which I'm going to eventually cover with jute and do sweat lodge and create like a place to kind of detox. This is my yoga mat. This is the floorboards are actually an old table that was in here, and every single stone was hand picked from the woods and carried in here. So every piece of wood in this structure of this building was from these woods, except for the windows. But I put all the windows in myself, created a screen there, which I have a door closing it from the outside. And then there's a loft, and that is, I haven't slept up there yet. I can't wait. It's getting cool, so I got to do it soon. And over here, this is kind of a little scary looking, but we put the maple syrup, big, huge pan, I don't know if you can see it, up in the ceiling, and it created an old hay trolley up there, like a decorative hay trolley, kind of hanging it. I created my pentagram. That's not an upside down pagan symbol. It's actually the USA symbol, the 5-pointed star. And then I created this table on top of where the old stove used to be. It's this big long stove that the pan sits on. So that's why I elevated it so it's on a crank system now, and it can come down so you don't have to carry it. And then I just transferred that into a table until it's getting renovated. I got to renovate the stove if I ever want to get the maple syrup working again in here. But yeah, so there's a little table, and yeah, so this is where I come and hang out. I try to do my yoga session down here every day. Here's some shots where the lighting's a bit better, and you can really check it all out from the up in the loft looking down. You see half the stone wall, because the horses used to come around the back and they used to pour the syrup in. So that's actually where that stone wall ends, is where the road is on the back of the building. And this is the palm that I wanted you to see that's up in the ceiling. And so this is for Palm Sunday. I spoke about it in my video about the hand of God, and you know, the palm leaves that they were using. And this was really a big practice for the Catholics. You know, back, I don't know, maybe 60 years ago or so, they were doing this regularly on Sundays. On Palm Sundays, they would put these reeds up in the ceiling. And I have a few buildings on my property that have this, and I didn't know what it was. So I find this fascinating that it's actually a tradition, a religious tradition. So, welcome. Welcome to my little oasis in the woods. So I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about what's going on in the world. Like, it's getting really crazy. I don't know if you guys are feeling it, but my emotions kind of go up and down. I'm not always like super upbeat because I kind of feel like it's, I have to pinch myself, like as if it's surreal. Even though I was kind of prophesizing that this was all going to happen, I didn't. Now that it is happening, it's kind of like hitting me the reality of what it feels like for it to be happening. So the whole process of kind of realizing that things aren't ever going to be back to the way they were is, I kind of feel like I'm going to a mourning a little bit of that, and feeling like the reality of setting in, like how the kids have to go to school and what they have to endure at school with these masks on, and you know, all this social distancing, almost like they're in concentration camps. So I've decided to opt out of sending my daughter to school, even though it's mandated here. Trying to get her on a permanent online program. So that I'm dealing with that, seeing if that's going to be possible, but I think it will, or she'll have to do her grade over again. The other thing is just realizing that I don't want to be part of this new normal, like this new world order kind of reality, and what that entails to step out of that. Okay, so of course I'm forced to wear a mask where I live, but I try to do as little public areas as I possibly can. I also
have decided to not take the vaccine, obviously. And then will that, in a way, ostracize us from the rest of society? And I'm on social media, so I kind of voice my opinion about, how I see things as kind of a spiritual war and everything. And I think people haven't, like the masses, haven't really clued in yet that this is a spiritual war. They just think, we're just everything's going to go back to normal one day. And of course, I kind of like go, no, I think something more is going, involved in what's going on. And then they kind of get aggressive a little bit when I say, well, I should have a right to breathe fresh air in public places. It's my health. It's my autonomy of my own health. And they're like, no, just stay home. So I'm kind of like, oh my God, it's already happening. It's like they don't really care about our health and how we feel about our health. They just care about their health, and then they're kind of ostracizing the people that don't want to go along with the conformity. Okay, so it's really having the courage to step up against what's going on. But at the same time, I realize it's not going to change anything, right? If I start saying, I don't want to be a part of this, the masses aren't going to change. The masses are set in their mind that, they're going to take this vaccine. This is what has to be done. And if I'm hooked to AI, to the grid with my needle array patch, I'm okay with it. They're totally fine with it, because I've had conversations with people about it that are, on social media, and they're like, yeah, so what? So what that the government knows everything about my health and doesn't matter. So nothing alarms them. Also, the whole child sex trafficking thing doesn't seem to alarm them. Nothing seems to like awaken them out of their sleep, is what I'm noticing, which is kind of shocking for me. I'm kind of like, wow, it's not, the awakening is happening to a certain degree, but it's not happening on a mass scale, right? So, then I'm starting to have the process through that and go, okay, so what do I do with this? Do I just like not care? Like, do I just like don't try to talk to them, or just let them carry on? And part of me is like, well, I do have a moral obligation. I don't know how I feel that in my soul, that I need to reach out to them, but I don't need to criticize them, make fun of them, belittle them in any sort of way, or make it seem like my path is better than their path. And this is, I've always practiced that. I don't call people names on social media, even though I get attacked and stuff. I've always been pleasant. Okay, so there's that. But then the whole realization is, they're already on their path. There's nothing you can do. They're just like, they're doing it. That's it. And so now I'm starting to think like, well, what are we supposed to do? Like we have to create almost like a new way of living to not be in that reality. So I actually went to the dentist a couple of days ago, and I actually had a conversation with him, and I said, if it's mandatory vaccine, will you still work on me? And, if it's after hours or something. And he said, yes, I will. So I'm trying to start to think in those terms of what do I need to stay healthy when I'm ostracized from these locations? Because I think at one point, it will be, you can't even get into a hospital unless you have the vaccine. I really do believe that. That's what's going to happen. Now, is the spiritual event going to happen before that? Most likely. Most likely. I've listened to, I'll put her link below. Her name's Brenda. One of my Anon friends sent her to me. She's a Christian that is been in Bible study for 35 years, and she's actually going through the book of Revelations in her interpretation of it. And she realizes that it's not chronological, right? So the book of Revelations isn't chronological. So it's interesting because she has it all timelined out, and she's timelining it out to be in end of September, like next month, and into these 2 moons in October, which I've discovered. And then she's got the spring equinox. So she's not saying anything about the winter solstice, but I just find it fascinating, like through all her Bible study work, because no way am I near knowledgeable as her on that topic. But I just find it interesting that it is relating to some of these really important dates, like October 1st and October 31st with the harvest moon and the blue moon, which has been 11 cycles since
since the War of Independence to this year, and then we have the full moon this year on, the harvest moon and the blue moon on this year, which always correlate with July 4th. So it's always like a grouping, July 4th, October 1st and October 31st eclipses that have happened. There's been 11 cycles of them. So anyhow, I just thought that was interesting that she's linking some of the same timeline as what I've kind of discovered. So I wanted to share that with you. And I just wanted to kind of get your perspective on how you feel like you're going to manage with the responsibility of not being vaccinated, and how are you going to work through, this kind of ostracization of yourself from society. And instead of getting angry about it and going, yeah, you guys are all crazy, and like there's people angry about having to wear a mask, and there's people protesting, but even the protesters, there's not enough of us protesting to change what's going on. The masses are just asleep, so anyhow, in Canada, I'm in Canada, so maybe not so much in the United States, but I just find it all fascinating. And then today, I just saw the whole peace agreement with Israel tying to United States and everything. So the prophecy is just rolling out. Like, it's just like, it's happening, right? So that is like what I'm dealing with right now. So I kind of come down here and I try to do some yoga and try to keep understanding the process of the Bible and what it entails. And I was fascinated to learn that the 144,000, it seems like, is the ones that ascend. Okay, so that I find really interesting. And then the others that are the believers will also get to go to heaven, but I think there is a harvesting process of that happening, like you get raptured up or something. So that is what I'm starting to realize, is the 144,000 are the ascended souls, and it's done through the 10 days of this kind of battle that you have to go on, and I do believe it's linked to the 10 days of darkness and the whole process of activating your DMT, which I will do a video on that. I have a lot of information about all that and what it entails to kind of have this this experience, and what you're going to need to do if you're in the 10 days of darkness. Okay, so I'm trying to map out everything in a way so we all stay calm. So if you understand what's going to happen in the sky, and understand where you want to be, you have a little bit of time now to kind of figure out, well, I would rather be, raptured up or whatever, and then harvested, and then I'm good with that. If you're okay with that and you don't want to go through the whole understanding your body and learning how, because I think the 144,000 are going to be the ones that are going to help the ones that are going on the bad path in the long run. Like, it's like we're here to help those people. Okay, so it's a big responsibility to be one of the 144,000 and learning how to activate your Kundalini and your DMT experience through the 10 days of darkness. There's a lot of responsibility with that, but I think it's like glorified. You get to keep your full memory in the end. So there goes my dog. He just took off. He heard something. So that's what I'm saying, is like, there's a lot. I'm processing a lot. I'm trying to get this information all out to you guys, and I will. I just had a lot more subs join my channel because Lavette gave me a shout out. And so now I'm kind of like getting swamped with readings. So I'm kind of like, I need to figure out a way to get this, the way I'm doing it, more automated, because I'm doing it all by hand and, copy paste stuff, and it's like taking way too long. So anybody that has asked for a reading, it might take a little bit longer than a week. And I really appreciate that you're interested in learning your whole purpose and your life path, and what you've mapped out for yourself, and understanding it through the sky. And so anybody else that wants that, I'll put a link into my YouTube, actually my website, and you can message me there. So anyhow, there's a lot to share, and I'm curious to know how you guys are all feeling because I'm kind of like mourning that I'm no longer part of society. But I'm kind of, happy that I have my, my online family, because I feel like I am part of something. So I don't feel totally isolated. And I think that's why it's important to kind of be with the people that think like you, so we don't feel extremely isolated in these times, because it's kind of lonely and can be depressing. So we don't want to go there, right? We don't want to get depressed because we've chosen this path, which is actually the more glorified path, is actually the right path morally, but we don't want to, it feels depressing, because nobody's listening. Really, the masses aren't listening to us. They don't really care about a lot of the topics that we're concerned about, and so therefore it makes us feel a little bit, like we're not getting ahead. But I think it's all part of it, like they're allowed to have their path, and we have to respect that. But how that affects us is, how do we fit into society now? Is it online shopping? Is it learning how to function off grid? Because I do think at one point there is going to be, the internet goes down, okay? And I think that's how they're going to get everybody vaccinated. Because if there's no internet, there's, the grocery stores aren't working, everything, nobody can order, everybody's going to be panicking, and they'll probably go to these, Walmart centers, and then they'll say, well, if you're going to be here, you have to be vaccinated. That's how I see it playing out. And so it's kind of trying now in these, last few months now before winter, to get organized so that you feel like you have the ability to stay autonomous in these times. So anyhow, I wanted to share the Sugar Shack with you guys, because it was a lot of work. I felt like I was cross-training, lifting these rocks, carrying them through the woods all summer when it was like at 90 degrees here. But it's done now, and I have my little place to talk to you guys with, and I come to here, and I just kind of try to connect to my higher self, or to higher godlike energies, so that we start to understand how to navigate through these times. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. So thanks for watching, and check out the links below to that Christian Book of Revelations lady. Her name's Brenda. I think she's a good one to watch if you're a Christian and you're interested in how she's deciphering the Book of Revelations. Signing out. Take care.
Through the eyes of men, it seems there's so much we have lost, as we look down the road where all the prodigals have walked, and one by one the enemy is whispered lost, and led them off as slaves. Oh. But we know that you are God, yours is the victory, and we know there is more to come that we may not yet see. So with the faith you've given us, we'll step into the valley unafraid. Yeah.
Reports internationally are much the same.
As we call out to dry bones, come alive, come alive.